Welcome to Iconic Production. We are glad that you have joined us tonight. This is the first inaugural session of a new game that we are launching on the stream tonight on Mondays. If you know anything about Iconic and myself, we have a special love for 13th Age. We've been doing the Iconic podcast for 3 years now. We're wrapping up Season 3 here in a couple of months, and we're going to be launching into Season 4. So we figured what better game to start with than a 13th Age game.
Woohoo!
So that is what we are starting tonight.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
I'm going to go around and introduce my players for the game.
Apparently got so excited.
I'm going to go around and introduce my players for the game. We're going to introduce the world a little bit. And then tonight we figured we'd just bring you a short session 0 where we walk through character creation for 13th Age and kind of build the story that we're going to be playing through on the stream on Monday nights. So, without further ado, start on this side. We have two of our crew members from the Fading Suns game of the Oh Boy, Captain Calypso, also known as Lee.
Oh boy.
And Becca, welcome back. Thanks for being a part of this.
Thanks for having us come back.
And then...
I'm glad you like me.
Oh, Lee. Of course we do. And then on this side of the table I have Paul and Rachel. You guys are pretty new to gaming.
Yes, definitely do.
Oh,
We've played 1 or 2 games here and there.
They've been part of a 5e game that I've been running at my house, and when I said, hey, I'm going to be running this game on the stream, they jumped at it. So,
I mean, why not?
right?
It'll be fun.
Right? So, what we're going to do is I'm going to give a little overview of the world we're going to be playing in, and then we're going to go just make characters. It should go pretty quickly. Just a couple of choices. We'll probably spend most of the time on icons and backgrounds and one unique things. But if you're not familiar with it, 13th Age is a Fantasy 20 role-playing game done by Pelgrane Press, written by Rob and Jonathan. They have put together a game that has sort of the mechanical fun of 4th edition D&D with sort of the narrative mechanics of some of the indie RPGs and some of the really kind of classic D&D formats from 3rd edition. So it's sort of this very fast, very sleek, very story-focused, very player-focused version of D20 role-playing. So we are going to be playing in my personal little D20 world known as Tanar. It is the 7th Age. If you've been listening to the Iconic podcast, you'll know that we started producing our adventures in this area. And it's got its own unique icons and areas. We're going to be starting at the south end of the Cardane Empire, where the provincial capital of Druthan has just been formed. And so Provost Benson Gree, the person in charge of this new territory of the Empire, has put out the call for adventurers. And that is where you guys come in. You guys are able to go through and find out what mysteries Tanar holds, what dangers threaten Druthan, and sort of what destinies unfold in front of you. Now, we've done a little bit of background before with the players, so I think what we're going to start with is let me kind of give a brief overview of what's different of 13th Age and kind of what we're really going to focus on tonight. You guys picked your classes, picked your characters, we're going to kind of walk through making those. But the things that really make 13th Age stand out are one unique things, backgrounds, and icon relationships. So each character in 13th Age is going to get to declare one unique thing about their character. You get to come to the table and tell the GM, this is what is important to me about my character and kind of where I see them in the story. So we'll get to that here in a little bit with you guys, but I hope you've been thinking about them or pondering them. We'll kind of workshop them together. Then, instead of a giant skill list, what 13th Age provides is backgrounds. So you come up with 2 to 3 jobs or roles that your character has done before they became an adventurer. So you might have been a failed wizard apprentice in Mosenball. You might be a Barthan assassin from the Northern Wastes. And basically, when you go to make a skill roll, I will ask for what background you think applies. So if you're a former barmaid and it is an athletics check, you might say, well, I've spent a lot of nights wrestling drunk customers out of the bar. Of course I can wrestle this guy to the ground. And that's how backgrounds work. And so, again, we're going to workshop those with the players as well tonight. And last but not least, 13th Age has icons. And what icons are, they're sort of the movers and shakers of the world. Villains, heroes, emperors, empresses, that sort of thing. And you all start with some sort of connection to between 1 and 3 of the icons. And every session you're going to get to roll to see if these icons come into play. The Tanar icons are really analogous to the 13th Age icons. As we go through it, we'll eventually put a little cheat sheet for those of you who want to use any of this in your home game. Just feel free. And you can figure out what icons we're using, what icons they relate to core 13th Age. Kind of work back and forth like that. So, without further ado, let's talk about character classes. What does everybody think?
I'm gonna be a rogue.
So you're sneaky.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Devious.
What species are you looking to play?
Pantheran.
Okay, so the Pantheran are a race in Tanar. 2 of the races are created races. Nobody really knows who made them, but they showed up. And one of them is the Pantheran. They are sort of predator cat-like anthropomorphs. So the other one is Wolfen, which is kind of self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go with the Pantheran rogue.
Yep.
Rachel, what are you thinking about playing?
I'm gonna be in Necromancer. Oxen Necromancer.
Oxen Necromancer. When we started explaining the classes that exist in 13th Age, you really wanted to play the Necromancer. So what is it about the Necromancer that sort of stands out to you?
I'm really excited about bringing people back from the dead and having an army of skeletons.
Yeah. Not so much in like a cleric-y, I've healed you and brought
Right.
you back
No.
from the dead.
No,
No.
right.
More like I
That's
control you.
Like, I
Yeah.
brought you back from the dead, but
You're
you're not
mine.
alive.
I have seen that there's a great t-shirt that says Necromancers, and they've got the reduce, reuse, recycle symbol underneath. It's like they are the quintessential.
They are.
And so then Oxens
Just trying to
are
save the world, you know?
sort of a Minotaur race in Tanar, but they're more ram-based than, bull-based. They have a special place in the world. They shepherd the spirits that eventually become divine. And so that's kind of where the tack we're taking with you is you see these spirits, but maybe as they flee the body, not necessarily as they remain in the body. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Lee, what are you thinking about playing?
I'm playing a Varthan Fate Weaver. And it's funny because it's spider related.
It is. So there are no orcs or goblins or trolls or any of the sort of green-skinned races if you have looked at any D&D book or Warhammer Fantasy. In Tanar, there are the Var, a spidery race that kind of fills the void for that in this world. And the Varthan are horrible half-Var, half-human experiments. Now, one of the funny things about this is, if you watch Fading Suns, you know how much Lee loves being putting Captain Calypso Mars in sort of the center of all negotiations that go on. But there's something unique about the Varthan, right?
There's so much that you just said. Yes, the Varthan may understand the common language, but they can't speak it. I don't think they physically...
Yeah, with mandibles.
Yeah, at least the concept art you showed me was really pretty. In it, like, that kind of creepy way, but also in that kind of, like, Han Solo, like, kind of, because Calypso would, she would...
Yes.
Yeah.
Ruffle shirts.
That's right.
So...
Nice.
Ruffled shirts and hampers, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, sure. So, yeah, so that's, I should have learned, or I should have known, picking a pilot, and a pirate would have transcended into Calypso kind of having her own little group versus the group having her. And so this time I wanted a character that is very completely opposite of that, that's very reliant upon others and not so much upon themselves. And so...
We're going to have a Chewbacca scenario here, in that people can understand you, and you can understand people, but you can't speak necessarily directly to them. That's going to be awesome. And the Fate Weaver is a book, is a class from a 13th Age supplement that was done under the Open Gaming license called Dark Pacts and Ancient Secrets. We actually have 2 classes from there. Becca, why don't you tell us about your character real quick?
So I chose another class from the Dark Pacts Ancient Secrets called the Abomination, which are the experiments, failed or otherwise. And I will be playing a Plague Elf. So, we're going to really lean into this. I'm not from around here.
Right.
But I get to understand her, and I get to interpret her.
That's right.
So,
So because we're starting
yes,
in...
we will get you cream cheese as soon as we get back to the store.
Well, apparently, because we're starting in October, we have a Necromancer, a Varthan,
And a monster.
So Plague Elves in this world,
Spooky
one of the demon lords that broke through in the 5th Age of Tanar sort of used a group of elves as the incubator for their sort of undead plague, and these elves kind of mutated and metastasized the plague inside of them. And so there is a small subset of the elven population who walks around with open wounds or just like a skeletal arm preserved by magic, and nobody really knows what to deal with that, what the deal is with them or what to do with them. They don't seem to be contagious anymore, but it's not so much that you're welcome really anywhere. So, all right, well, let's get into character creation. So you each have your little class cheat sheets in front of you. For those of you following along at home who may have played other D20 games before, character creation works a lot like any of the other ones. You're going to pick your race, you're going to pick your class. We're going to assign some numbers, get some other numbers, mix them all around, pick some powers, shake them up like a fine cocktail, and then pour them all over the can.
For those who are of age to drink.
That's right. So instead of rolling stats, I figured we'd use just kind of a stat array. You guys are fine with that?
Okay.
All right. So on your class sheet, they will tell you what your key attributes are. So these are the things you're going to want to focus on.
Yes.
So ability scores right here under overview. So for example, you Dex is your primary, and then charisma or intelligence kind of as your secondary ones.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to give you a set of numbers that you're going to get to plug into any attributes that you want. You will get a +2 to one of these from your class, and a +2 to one of these from your race. You may not take the same +2. So if Pantheran gives you a +2 to Dex or Wisdom, and your Rogue class gives you a +2 to Dex or Charisma, you can't take a +4 Dex. You've got to take...
You got split.
So I can't be just some raging dexterity.
You will be here. You just can't start that way. And for those of you who might be unfamiliar with 13th Age, these guys are starting off not as the, farm woman who picks up a sword and goes out and defends the farm from invading goblins. You guys are starting at heroes, and then just kind of ramp up from there. So.
Neat. It's very fun.
All right, so here are the attributes that you may assign anywhere you like. 17. Oh, yep, should have brought extras.
Alright. Nope, you're fine. That's why I have more. Thank you.
All right. 17, 15, 14, 13, 12, and 10. For those of you following along at home who are obsessive 13th Age fans, those are the stat arrays introduced by the guys in 13th Age Glorumpa. So a new stat array kind of going forward. So I'm going to walk you through your races, and you guys get to pick I'll tell you your special abilities. I'll tell you all the different things. And Rachel, you're going to be first because Oxen comes first.
Nice.
You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So here are things that you have to choose for being an Oxen. First of all, you get +2 to Strength or Wisdom. Your choice. Oxen are really strong, larger than normal, and they are also very kind of in touch with the world around them. So, which one do you want to pick?
Strength.
All right, so you have a +2 to Strength. Whatever number you eventually put there, that's the number that you're going to increase that number by 2. And now they have 3 other little things that you're going to want to mark somewhere on your character sheet. First of all, they are large. The small oxen are about 8 feet, and they sort of go up from there. And so what that means is when you try and break out of combat, when you make a disengage check, you're at -2. So it's harder for you to sort of nimbly jump out of combat. You have Spirit Seer, which is a background at +2. Because you can sort of see spirits. So anytime you think Spirit Seer might be a good background, you're welcome to use that. And last but not least... Oh, I'm sorry, did I say +2? I meant +5. That was my mistake. And last but not least, you have Curling Ram's Horns. That's great.
Did a little curl from my C accidentally. So what I was
Yeah, you were in
thinking
there. You were just like focused.
Embodying your ram
That's right.
person.
You were ready.
Once per battle, as a quick action, you can headbutt an enemy.
Someone hurts your skeleton.
That's right.
Ram head.
That's right. It basically is going to be strength plus level to hit. And it will do your level in D4s for damage. So in 13th Age, as you level up, you get more dice. So you're at first level, when you headbutt somebody, it does a D4 plus your strength modifier. At 4th level, when you hit somebody, it does 4d4 plus your strength modifier. So as you level up, your ram's horn attack gets better. Let me move through here next. Pantherin. All right, you have 2 things. First of all, you can get a +2 to strength or dex.
I'll probably do +2 dex.
All right. So your special ability is Terrifying Roar.
Okay.
All right. Once per battle, after you make a melee attack and hit with a natural even. So if the die is 2, 4, 6, 8, any even number, you can roar afterwards.
And that's once per battle.
Once per battle. You get to make a charisma plus level attack against a D3 enemies. MD. So against their mental defense. Anyone who you hit, so you'll make it against the highest one. If you hit, those D3 enemies are dazed for 1 round.
What do you mean D3 enemy?
So you'll roll you'll roll your D6, but it'll be 1 or 2 is a 1, 3 or 4 is a 2. All right. Becca, Pale Elf.
See me?
The Uduan Senti. Do you wish to have a +2 dex or a +2 charisma?
I'll have a +2 dex.
Okay. Once per battle, when you hit on a natural even roll, you can inflict the plague that rages through your body on your enemy.
Okay. Is it anything specific? Is it like necrotic or poison or just
It would be poison damage.
poison? Okay.
And it inflicts 5 ongoing damage per level when you do that. So ongoing damage you take every turn, and every turn you try to make a save. And if you fail your save, it just continues to do the damage. And last but not least, the Vartan.
It's me.
Would you like me to say it in Vartan to you?
Please.
Yes.
So you get +2 strength
rude.
or +2 intelligence.
I'm sorry, what was the first one?
+2 con or +2 intelligence.
I don't want either of those, but I guess intelligence.
Okay.
So do I just bump it up in general?
Yep.
Okay.
Whatever you've put in there.
Whew.
So your special ability is called Aberrant Pedipulse.
Okay. As one is.
Aberrant? How do you spell this?
Aberrant.
Pedipulse?
Yep. Pedipalps.
Pedipulse. Okay.
Once per battle, you get to make a basic melee attack against all enemies you're engaged with.
Okay.
And
Spider arms.
yeah, they're basically the spider striker arms. And they do a d6 damage per level.
With all enemies engaged with.
Yep.
And there was a d6 per level?
D6 per level.
So 1d6 per level. What level are we starting with?
You were level 1.
Oh, I thought we were already here. Oh, I get it.
Okay. Alright, so now what you're going to want to do is look at your class, because your class is going to provide you 2 other choices for your attributes. You get to pick one of them. Again, it can't be the same. And then you're going to want to assign your attributes to Strength, Con, Dex, Wisdom, Intelligence, and Charisma. If you have any questions about what any of those do, please let me know.
I do have a question, but actually back on my Terratime Roar.
Yes.
It stuns them, does not do damage.
No, it doesn't. So you hit, and it dazes them, which makes they're at -4
And so it's in your
to hit for the next round. And actually, it's not a D3. It's all enemies engaged with you. So I read the wrong thing.
Okay, so all enemies with
Engaged with you.
Wisdom, some charisma we can say.
Alright. Let me pull up some of the books so that I can see these.
You added 2 to wisdom.
Oh, I can't.
What are you thinking of, Rachel?
Yeah,
where you putting your
So you added
attributes?
2 with your race.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is there like some kind of strategy as to how to do that?
Well, so for the Necromancer, I'm pulling it up right now. You want to actually have your con as low as possible, which is normally not the strategy that everyone else has.
Okay.
Because if you have a positive modifier to Constitution, so Constitution is how alive you are, you have a bonus to con, you have a penalty to attack rolls because you're too tied in with life.
Okay.
Can we turn the air down a little?
No, let's go.
Okay.
So don't worry about it.
Right. So for you, the ones that are going to be most important to you are... So Charisma is, Constitution is not important to the Necromancer. In fact, if you can get it to 10, that's great.
Okay.
Intelligence and Charisma are your 2 primary ones. Intelligence is going to be your basis for all your attack spells. Charisma is going to be the basis for all of your summoning stuff. So you kind of want those as high as possible, and don't forget to get your bonus to. You'll get a +2 to either intelligence or charisma. So you could have like both at 15 or both at 17, or you can do like your intelligence or your charisma at 19, and then have another one at 15.
Okay.
It's entirely up to you. 15 plus 2.
Right.
We're including the levels already.
Okay.
14 plus 30 is well, right?
So what about the abomination? What are you thinking about?
The abomination. Well, the abomination does natural weapons, so like claws, biting, etc. And I can use either strength or dex.
Okay, what should we go with?
So I'm using dex. So I got my dex pretty high, at 19. And then my spit attack is based on my constitution, so that's second at 17.
Nice. So you're going to hawk up acidic loogies?
Yeah, and I'm pretty much. And I'm thinking as, like, I'm not so much like a big, bulky abomination as much as, like, more dexterous.
Keep doing this. Are we thinking
like
eel,
snake, eel,
fish?
probably fish, flop, 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 flop.
Yeah, little Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
Skeletal
Dashing through. Yeah.
Cool.
Creek. So trying to get hit points and AC up high.
Well, speaking of that, once you get your attributes put where you want them, let me know, and I'll hand out modifiers to everybody.
I will say my charisma is a 10.
Okay, so charisma is your
It is. Because everybody hates me.
high affects hit
You can
points.
understand me. It is not very eloquent.
No, this is perfect.
What can possibly go wrong?
Absolutely nothing. I don't understand. We're really great together. I didn't see it.
That's fair. So, how is everyone doing so far? You got attributes assigned?
Yes.
Just about.
Alright. Rachel's using. Go ahead and get the character sheet you're using there also so that I can follow along. Thank you, sir. The dulcet tones of my voice. Alright.
Oh, so I'm still a medium size, right?
Yes. Unless you take something specifically that makes you large.
Okay. Probably not. In this case.
How
Large are Panther.
They're medium-sized creatures. Yeah, everybody here is medium-sized.
Except for the oxen.
The oxen is considered large, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And in charge.
Yeah.
Very excited about it. I've never really been large before.
That's,
So.
It's fantasy role-playing. When I play in like Becca's game, my character eats a bunch of dairy and has long, flowing,
Golden
curling hair.
locks.
Yeah.
And
is
on
a-
all the ladies.
And is a cleric.
The more you drink of that, you get longer.
Yeah, that's
more
right. Yeah,
flowing
I
hair.
can drink as much milk as I want. I can eat all the cheese in the world.
With bread.
With bread, that's right.
We're starting at level 1, right?
You are starting at level 1. All right, you guys ready for modifiers?
Yes.
All right, so if you have a 10,
So
see where it says mod, MOD?
Yeah.
So the 10s are plus 0, 12
12
or 13 is plus 1, 14 or 15 is plus 2, 16 or 17 is plus 3, if you have something that's a 18 or 19 is a plus 4.
Do we add the modifiers from our class and our race into the ability level?
You add them into the ability score, and then that. So a plus 2 equates a plus 2 to an. So like, Rachel, what number did you put in your strength? Okay, so what's
Then I have a
plus 2 to it, so you're
Right.
actually at a 15
right.
for that. So that would be a plus 2 modifier.
Would you give me those one more time?
Sure. Is that 10 is 0, and then every even increases it by 1.
Okay.
All right. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah. You have
Oh, so where do my modifiers go?
on your character sheet, your mods are going to go right here underneath.
Okay. So, but then I have a strength modifier, and then you said if it was 13 or 14, it would have a plus 1, right?
12 or 13.
Yeah, 12 or 13 is plus 1, but your strength is if you wrote down, you put your 13 there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your plus 2 from being an oxen goes to the 13. So the 13 becomes a 15,
Okay.
which is a total of a plus 2 mod.
Okay.
All right. So next is, you guys can do this part later, but on your character sheets, you got your bonus for level. You just put your level 1. We'll skip to that in a second. All right. So hit points. Rachel, what's your con modifier?
0.
Okay, so you have 18 hit points at level 1.
Just base is 13.
Up to the modifier.
Okay, so 14.
Okay, and then what is your hit point multiplier on from your class? It should be on the next page.
Hit point times 3.
Okay, so
6 plus 1. So 7 times 3, 21.
you have 21 hit points.
21. How much did you have? 18. 21. I have 30.
That's okay.
It's the reason why you guys keep me around, I guess.
That's right. All right, so you, sir, on that same page. Actually, you might.
Yeah.
That might be easy because I know you're helping.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so you guys both wear light armor. Okay, so here's how this works. What is the middle? And by that is, I'm going to give you 3 ability modifiers to look at. You pick the middle one. So if it's like 2, 2, and 1, the middle one is plus 2. It's 5, 3, and 2, and 1 plus 3. So what's the middle of your con, dex, and wisdom modifier? I think this is for you guys.
I have 2 ones and 3 strong.
2. So your base AC in light armor is 50. What about you?
I need a 1.
Yours is a 1. Alright, so you have a 12 AC.
Scary.
Alright, middle of your strength, con, and dex.
Con. Dex. 0, 1, and 3.
So 1. So you have a 14 physical defense. Rachel, what do you have?
2.
Alright, so your physical defense is 13. Not too shabby. And then the middle of your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
2 3s and 1. 2, 3.
So it's a 3. So 13, 14 for you.
Mine's 3 also.
15 for you. Alright.
Smart enough over there.
Your recoveries. You both have 8. Congratulations.
Yay, we're not dead yet.
You're not dead yet. And you use a D8 per level, and you use a D6, Rachel.
What's the plus?
Alright, the Constitution. Alright, so we'll get powers picked, and then we'll do kind of the group stuff together.
Okay.
Paul, you get 4 talents.
Not Chris.
You're not Chris. You get 4 talents. Now, Rachel, you're going to get 4 first level spells. Okay, but you both are, you're going to get 3 talents. Sorry. And then you're going to get 4 first level spells.
Okay.
Now, don't forget to look at your class features. We may just kind of walk around and talk about people's class features while we sit here. So, I have the necromancer pulled up. I'll do that. If you have any questions about your talents or your spells, please just feel free to let me know. and I'll make cheat sheets for everybody based off what they did today. So, as the necromancer, Rachel can use ritual magic. So, ritual magic is anything that's not like a combat spell. Like, say you wanted to summon the spirit of an ancient Cardane emperor and ask them 3 questions. I may give you a list of things that you have to collect, or you can basically make a ritual sort of on the fly to do with what you want. You can use wands and staves, which are your magic items that you really want to be keeping an eye out for. Many player characters, you have to spend at least 1 icon relationship point. Out of your 3, you have to spend 1 with Desolation, the undead master of the night. Because you're drawing some of your power from the planes of dust and ash. So you can actually either go with Desolation, who's sort of the evil necromancy sort of thing. No, actually, you can only go with Desolation. My bad. So if you have a negative relationship with him because he's evil, you're stealing his power without it knowing. If you have a conflicted relationship, you might have him like a form of cultist. You don't think you don't have a positive relationship with his icon, but you get to choose one or the other. You have to pick at least one of your icon relationships with them. And then you get to summon creatures, which should be pretty awesome. That was one of the things that really drew you to the class. And we sort of talked a little bit about the fact that you are wasting away, which means that if you have a positive constitution modifier, you're actually penalized. You're filled with too much life. So, you get to pick 3 talents, and you get to pick 4 first level spells. If you want some, if you have any questions, let me know. Ones that I've seen a lot of people pick are Death Knell, which says, as a quick action, you can just reap the soul of some enemy that's at 5 HP or less and heal a little from it. So, that's one that kind of stands out. And I know you like the really big minion. Getting sales to it would be one of the talents to look at. Right, how's your class going?
It's going good.
So, as a rogue, I think you get sneak attack. You get, your class features are sneak attack. What's the other
Trap sense.
and momentum, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so rogues, most of Paul's abilities are going to key off whether he has momentum or not. Momentum is he gains it when he attacks an enemy, he loses it when he gets attacked by an enemy. And some of your powers either require you to spend it or just have it solely to that.
Yeah.
And sneak attack works sort of just like how it works in all other D20 games. You do extra damage. In this game, when you are engaged with an enemy that one of your allies is engaged with. So your ally provides the distraction for you to come in and save yourself.
Snicker you in the
That's right, just like the Jabberwock. Also, one other thing that the rogue has that you may want to look at when we get to weapons is rogues do a D8 damage with knives. Everyone else does a D4 or a D6, I think.
Pretty excited about that.
Rogues are just really good with knives. So as we said, we're using Dark Pacts and Ancient Secrets from Martin Kilman. So, Becca, you're playing the Abomination.
I am indeed.
You want to tell us a little bit, what are the class features of the Abomination?
First one is Native Element. Depending on how I became an Abomination, I get natural resistance to my Native Element.
What are you going with?
I'm going to go ahead and go with Poison.
Okay.
Because it makes sense for Plague Elves. They debated having something different, but it feels right. I get natural armor because my skin is no longer my own, along with natural melee weapons. So I don't carry any weapons.
You are the weapon. You are the brute spawn. So you also get a spit attack, right?
I do.
You
Yes,
mentioned that.
yes, I get a spit attack, which will be poison. So there's a lot of poison going on. Not only can I deal it with my racial ability once per battle, I can do a spit attack whenever I
All right.
and I am intimidating. I don't need to use charisma to get people to listen to me. I'm going to use my strength instead. However, it does say, while this can quickly resolve a situation, that target is likely to hold a grudge. So yeah, this is going to go great. I don't know how we made friends, but thank you so much for being our friends, guys.
It's fine.
We will see how that goes down.
And then I get some... I essentially get to build what kind of abomination I am with the abomination maneuvers, which are quite extensive and varied. So, still debating on that. I've picked some talents like Carnage and Fueled by Pain.
What does Carnage do?
I get +2 to my crit range against mooks.
Okay.
And Fueled by Pain, if I'm staggered, I get +2 against for my crit range. So if I'm surrounded by mooks and staggered,
You get +4 to it.
so at 16 up, I crit.
Yes.
Are we gonna have any mooks?
Of course we're not.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Like, please say yes.
And so Lee, the Fate Weaver, is sort of a pull on the strings of fate, kind of change the way the dice would go or the outcomes of fights and such, right?
Yeah, I just chose. I'm right now filling out my talents.
Okay, what'd you pick?
Well, so far I've picked one. I've finished my spells and my meditations. But
Nice.
what I thought was interesting is there's one class talent, and Fate Weaver at level 1 gets 3 talents. Is called the Bonds That Bind Us, which essentially says I can change one of my backgrounds in battle, in a scene. It seems to be pretty loose.
Okay.
Yeah, you can once per scene or in battle. I essentially can change a background and be like, I apologize, Colin. Aha. I can be like, Colin will remember when we fought those zombies together, and I actually am able to give that my bonus background to that person and myself. For that person's role. So it says here, when the ally rolls a skill check, describe how our shared past gives him or her the perseverance to succeed at the task, and grant them the bonus equal to the points in your bond, which for me would be the +4.
Nice.
That was pretty cool.
So
Very cool.
Yeah, so I'm in ultimate support right now, and it's very fun.
So you said your character's name is Colin?
Colin, yes. K-A-L-Y. And then, and you are Trip.
Yeah.
T-R-Y-P-D.
I think it's a trick. Not trip. No.
That's good.
A joke in 3 parts.
That's good.
You're precious. And with that, I have lost my buddy. Actually.
Or you'll just stop
It seems
translating.
simple enough.
Oh, I got easy.
Just double checking. We only get one trait initially, or do I get both of the traits? Sorry, features.
Class features, you get all of them.
Okay.
You get, and then you're going to get 3 talents
Okay.
and 4 maneuvers. So
He gets
4 powers known.
Yeah, you have 4 powers known and 3 talents. You pick 3 talents and 4 powers known. Have you guys anything looking interesting?
Yes. Let me find where they were.
What are you thinking, Rachel? Will be less?
Well, for talents, I think I want.
No, don't worry about it.
I want the skeletal minion.
Skeletal minion? Alright.
And then I want Sorta Dead.
What does Sort of Dead do?
It's basically. It says, in some ways, you're already dead. You don't need to eat, sleep, or breathe, and you can't drown in normal water or liquid.
Alright.
Cool.
Interesting.
Does it do anything else
We are
for you?
fascinated.
When a spell or affect targets, or applies to undead, you can decide whether you want to count as undead for that specific event.
Oh. Alright. Nice.
I'm not sure what my third one is yet.
Okay.
And then for...
Oh, and also the first time you die, each level you get to make a save, and if you succeed, you're not dead.
Yes.
She just uses a recovery.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Except it's Constitution roll, which I have 0. Anyway, for spells, I want the Chant of Endings
Mm-hmm.
and summon undead.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else yet.
Alright, you have 2 more or 1 more?
2, I think. So just...
Yeah, that one's...
Alright. So for me, I'm going to do smooth talk.
Okay.
So once per day, I can convince my GM with an amazing line of patter while you are using your social skills to speak or enact with NPCs.
Okay.
Basically, I get to convince people of things that I want.
Once a day.
Yeah, just
Nice.
and then also swashbuckle.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
I'm pretty excited to do just some outrageous things. So once per battle, as a quick action, I can spend my momentum to pull off a daring stunt that the likes of which others could scarcely conceive. So that's
Nice.
the quick intro.
That is going to be
Pretty
a lot
excited.
of fun. Yeah, both of those are really good. And then which do you have a third one yet?
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to use thievery as well. I'm not 100% sure,
Okay.
but I think that's the one I'm going to use. I basically have a thief's background, and
Is that +5, correct?
yes, +5 to the possible bonus,
Alright.
without having to spend my normal background points.
Very cool. We're going to get to backgrounds next. The other thing I'm going to point out to everybody is that you get 1 adventure feat. And what that is once you pick a talent or a spell or a maneuver, you'll see underneath it where it says adventure feat. That gives you an extra ability with that 1 talent, spell, or maneuver. There are some for the races. So, for example, if you wanted to, you could take your first adventure feat to increase the damage on your horns from a D4 to a D6. I don't think there's that one for you could inflict miss damage with your roar, which basically says that if you hit, you'll also do damage equal to your level.
With my roar?
With your roar. Okay. Plague does not have one. Martha does not have one.
Does Plague have a champion one, or
It does have a
Okay.
champion.
can we get there all last?
I will be glad to fill you. There's a champion one for the Martha as well. You got people now that you roll a 16 or higher when you're using your strength rules.
I feel like you should know that one of my maneuvers for my combination I picked was angry flailing. Yes. When I missed.
But what's your character do?
Just this?
Like, I figured that's what you were
motion?
doing.
Well,
I mean,
it's,
you can have a lot of people with
it's when I miss, and so it's lashing out angry that I missed.
It's like, ah!
Yeah. And I get to add damage to my miss damage, but then I also take damage.
You're flailing.
I'm throwing a temper tantrum.
That's unfortunate.
Essentially, it's a temper tantrum, so it's fine.
Alright, now you don't need to have every power and spell and talent picked, but in about 5 minutes we're going to switch over to working on our one unique things and our backgrounds and our icons today. Because again, we're just trying to do a short session 0 to kind of get into it. Okay. So, to those of you who are in the chat, thank you for joining us, and I hope you are enjoying this character creation session.
Do you have any questions?
Feel free to ask questions.
I don't feel like we've talked too much.
I definitely have not talked too much.
We've just been focusing and filling things out.
Well, you guys are playing new classes.
Yes.
I mean, I've got my meditations, my talents, my spells already.
Very cool. Meditation should be a lot of fun.
Very interesting. I decided to balance. I used one that can actually be damaging.
Okay.
And the other one is healing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I don't really think, other than a necromancer, which I don't know if that really constitutes as healing.
She can channel life.
Yeah, so, eventually I'll be able to, essentially heal other people.
Nice.
But not just yet, because I put my adventure feet into the bonds, just because instead of just simply the initial rule, I can also give people +4 to their, not only to the skill check, but also to attack rolls, saves, or death saves.
Nice.
So I thought that was more important, so I changed.
Well, I think between your little bit of healing, and if you decide to choose a little bit of healing, the Chaos Mage, who will be joining us in 2 weeks, she has a little bit of healing. Okay. But again, on your turn, instead of attacking, you could always rally and spend one of your recoveries to get some hit dice back, or to get some hit points back. So, I don't think that it's, I don't feel like 13th Age is one of those D20 games where you have to have a player.
Yeah. In fact, if you have seen our iconic production page, you will notice there is an article written by our very own JM about how you don't need a good cleric in 13th Age.
I did write that article.
You did!
But yes, while we're just talking about that, if you like what you're seeing and want to know more about 13th Age, you can check out the Iconic Podcast at iconicpodcast.com. We have 3 seasons worth of discussions on Iconic. You can search for the Archmage engine, which is the system reference document for 13th Age, and kind of get a feel for it. Or, of course, DriveThruRPG or PowerGamePress.com for copies of the book.
Steve, I'm ready.
Alright.
I'm ready to go.
We about ready to do backgrounds? Let's do one unique things first.
Oh, God.
Do you have one?
It's so difficult.
Which would you like to start with?
I don't know, because I'm...
Well,
alright, we're going to start with one unique thing.
I got one unique thing for you.
And we can always play it up.
Okay. So...
Let me explain one unique thing first.
Yes.
So again, a one unique thing is basically a one-sentence hook for your character. What's the one thing that makes them unique in the world? Now, your classes may have examples of one unique things to kind of take. They may also have background examples. I think it's just background, right?
Yeah.
I don't see anything with...
Shadow Prince is not a...
No, but it is the Guild of Falling Leaves in this world.
So I could just insert Guild of Falling Leaves for Shadow Prince?
Yes.
Pretty much.
There was something kind of
Prince of Shadows.
Yeah, whatever.
The POS.
The POS.
The POS. So, we're going to start with Becca, because she's played a lot of 13th Age.
I have.
And the nice thing is when you're sitting around the table doing session 0, when you come up with you need help, if you're like, I like this, but I'd like it to be a little punchier, you get to talk with the group and say, what would make my unique thing even more unique? So, Becca, what is Colin's one unique thing?
First question, is the Red Alchemist an icon?
Yes.
Okay. So the Red Alchemist is one of the icons that is doing experiments. And so I am the only plague elf to live through the experiments that have been Red Alchemist.
To live through.
There may be
What
other.
does that do to you?
I don't know. If I'm the only one to have lived through it, does that mean I'm a success or a failure?
Right, and so it can't be a like one unique things are not combat benefits, so it's not like poison quills. I mean, they're generally not combat benefits. But for right now, what we do know, we didn't know anything about the campaign beforehand, right? But just with Becca's one unique thing, we now know that the Red Alchemist has been capturing plague elves and experimenting on them. So far, it has killed everyone. So, kind of immediately, that's her unique thing. And so that we just built a little bit of the story.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Paul? Do you have an idea for one unique thing?
No.
Okay.
I thought I did.
Okay.
What was your
I'm
thought?
gonna change it.
Okay, go for it.
But I don't come back to me.
Okay.
I have to think through it slightly more. Maybe we should go to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, bus.
That's right. Burp, burp.
So my question is so in the 13th age that I've played, my former character was the daughter of the Lich King, which is one of the icon relations.
Yes.
In this game, in this realm, in Tanar, we don't have the Lich King. But what would be his closest
Analog?
Yeah.
Demoloth.
Demoloth?
Demoloth, yeah, the demon lord of undeath and plague.
Is he alive?
No.
Okay. Good.
He's
This is
buried.
going well.
Okay.
Because
It's not going well.
my one unique thing
It's not going well.
my one unique thing is going to be that I'm the only one who possesses the knowledge to bring him back. In
This
full
is not
force and
good.
effect.
No, oh no, this is terrible.
Okay,
I don't
so
like that.
I am the only one
Because of what you've seen
Yeah.
in the fates.
I've seen it in the Fates.
to.
Do you want to come back or no?
Remains to be seen. We'll see.
I don't want to come
Alright,
back.
so
Leave me.
so now we've also established that one, Demoloth, who has basically, he is the icon of undeath. They're now, my mind is just freewheeling now. But there are people who may know that Trip knows how to bring Demoloth back, or there may be people who are searching to bring Demoloth back, in which case Trip will figure very key into those things. And again, does Trip want this undead plague demon to come back? Probably not, but we don't know because we don't speak Arthur.
There's a lot of hushed arguments on this.
All right,
I do have a question.
I have an answer for you.
What do we know about your world? Or is
What
this
would
too soon?
No,
to
go ahead. What do you
ask?
want? Why? You know everything that we've shared.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I've heard that there are books that have been destroyed.
There have been books that have been destroyed in my world.
I would like to have read them before they were destroyed.
Well,
Is that allowed?
So they were destroyed many, many years before the start of this campaign. But if I may, what if we did something like this? What if we say, you possess the knowledge of the prophecies of Zahon?
Okay.
Now, so that one makes you very unique and super important to the world. Okay.
Should we downplay that a
No.
little?
No.
If you want to, but here's the thing.
Special.
This is how one unique things and backgrounds can tie in together.
Okay.
If you want to be able to access those prophecies, you would take a background in forbidden knowledge or something like that, or like memories of Za'an or something. To have mechanical advantage, you're going to want to tie a background.
My original thought was that as a thief and as like a person who's conned his way through society, I would have read those books because I would have snuck my way in. But if it needs to be something that I've read into, I'm okay with doing that as well.
What if your family has passed down this knowledge and it has gotten to you, and you use your thieving to look for scraps of it in order to bolster your family's...
Well, one of our people in chat suggested, what if you're such a good thief that you stole it from someone else's dreams and now it lives in your head?
Ooh,
Wow.
that was cool.
That is cool.
Okay.
I like that one.
Okay. I am curious, how would I have stolen dreams? Does that mean I can, like...
You have a background in Dreamwalker?
Yeah, I was just about
you
to
can
say,
take
is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Alright,
It is now.
It is
that's
now.
what it is.
It is now.
Alright, thank you.
I
Stranger.
stole a copy
I like it.
Prophecy of Zahar
I'm excited.
from
So
someone.
you can also...
Now, here's the thing. We don't know whose dreams you stole them from, so there's probably someone out there who is very angry at the fact that some thief broke into his personal dream catcher.
I just want to point out that so far with our one unique things, he's pointed out all of the enemies that we've made and none of the allies that we could possibly have.
That's okay. I mean, as long as I have it from them, they don't know what it is, and I'm the only one that has it, I'm okay with that. That's right.
All right.
I'm kind of struggling.
Okay.
You had mentioned last week about Oxen's kind of worshipping like idols, sort of.
Yeah, sort of the proto spirits of the world.
Right. So I was kind of thinking that maybe somehow I came back from the dead and they all worship me because of that, and that is how I got my necromancy.
Okay. So, what if we said something like, so sparks are the things in the world that, like, latch onto deities and provide this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oxen tend the sparks. What if you came back because you, as you were dying, you pulled enough sparks into you that you are now on the path towards divinity? Because that would be why people would sort of worship you. You're on your way to becoming an immortal. Would that work?
Yeah.
Okay, so how would we want to write that? How would we want to say that?
On the verge of death, instead of releasing your spirit, you harnessed spirits, those around you, and how are on the path to divinity.
I don't know. I just kind of word vomit because I didn't know what I was.
No, that was.
No, I like it.
We also had another person who suggested that maybe instead of your soul fleeing, you were possessed by one of these sparks of divinity, and kind of your soul is sort of in flux between the living and the dead, which is why you're in that answer.
Okay.
All right. Possessed by a spark.
What does that give? What is the benefit of that?
You're all about the profit over there.
I am.
It's a narrative. It's a narrative tie. So now we also know. So there's no mechanical benefits to one their story. It's kind of why I was putting out the antagonists, because that's part of that drives the story. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're possessed by a spark, one, you are on the path towards ascension. There are people who are going to start worshiping you. What does that mean? What are we going to deal with that? There are going to be people who want to kill you to take your spark and add it to their own. You're probably going to need to make a decision. Are you going to turn away from that? Are you going to embrace it? And if you're going to embrace it, what are you going to do to kind of grow your reputation? To sort of maybe one day become one of the icons.
I have a question about one unique thing that we've kind of had this. I've asked this before, but now I can't really answer. Can a one? I'm not changing mine. I like mine, but just in general, can a one unique thing literally be? For example, I am the icon, the Lich King. I am the icon, one of the three. Like, can it be?
It could be. We would have to work through what are the story ramifications of that? Are you like an avatar of it? Are you
for example, I am one of the three, and I don't remember I am because the other two cast me out.
Yeah, we could totally do that.
And I have suddenly weird, awesome things I do, and I have no control over them, and I'm just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you once had a one unique thing where you were incubating a dragon.
Yeah, the 3 laid an egg in my chest, and that's where I drew my sorcerer's powers from, but as I grew, it sort of yeah, it sort of consumed my whole chest, and then like it hatched, and I didn't know what was going on. And so yeah, you can make him as big. You can make him as big or as flashy as you want. You just gotta work with the GM to.
No, I think that's awesome. One unique things are they give me the most stress and anxiety, but I also think that's ironically the one unique thing is the thing that makes this game unique.
Well said. Well said.
All right, so next we're going to move on to backgrounds. And we're going to do backgrounds and icons, we're going to call them done. So, backgrounds, you have 8 points to spend. Personally, I recommend either going like 5 and 3 or 4 and 4. 2 backgrounds is a good number. 3 backgrounds is very... You have a lot of breadth to the character, but not a lot of impact.
Unless you're me.
Unless you're me.
You get to continuously change out your background.
That's true. Or... you can't have more than 5 points in the background, sort of what I'm getting at. So, all of your classes come with a little sample of possible backgrounds. But you get to make them up. These, again, are jobs that your character has done before they became an adventurer. Where you... All the ones I'm thinking of are those awful ones that I'm using on that monster to replace his memories. Dwarven thumbtack.
Oh yeah, those are.
Bodyguard.
Bodyguard?
From an initial game that
Yeah. So, we're coming up with, like, 2 descriptors for backgrounds. We'll start with you, Brenda, because...
I thought about it. I have... One of my backgrounds is Assassin for the Ixthagramor House. Which is one of the houses from Halo.
Well,
I mean, it's...
Right,
it's,
not the Pale Elves, the Drouch.
Yes, thank you, the Drouch. And then...
How many points do you want to put in that one?
I have 4. I did 4 and 4.
Okay.
And then my other one is I have memories of the experiments that were done, or experimentation that was done on me.
So how would you see using that?
For example, if I am looking for a magical trap, I remember while I was on the table watching the Red Alchemist open a cabinet after doing a certain symbol to unlock her magical hits or whatever it is. If that doesn't work, I can think of something else. But I mean, because the other thing would be like escape experiment.
I mean, that kind of ties into your abomination. What is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, because I kind of want to be able to use my skills that I have now as well as what I have. Okay. Would you rather have escaped experiment?
As long as we can play around with why you have, like, why these memories are helpful.
Well, yeah, because if I lived through it, I actually have memories of what happened to me.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. I don't want you to feel like you have a background that's not as useful.
No, I think I can make it useful because again, if I'm looking for magical traps, or if I'm trying to remember a magical symbol to unlock something, well, that might come because I watched it happen, or I can identify certain poisons or cures or something because I've smelled it in the room.
Alright, so initially I was thinking this was a small experimentation thing. You're thinking like this was a massive sort of complex thing.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Lee, you said you had yours as well.
Uh-huh.
You wanna give me?
Sure. So mine are
Daughter of the Lich King.
That was my former character. She was a warlock, and I loved her. I love how she became the magnificent. Like when the GM is just like angry that it's your turn, you know that you're finally there. But so I've got +3 in one and +5 in the other, and
Okay.
the +5 is the one I can switch out.
Okay.
And my +5 is famed fortune teller.
Nice.
So I have my descriptor. She's famed, which might be bad if the one thing that I can do, and people may or may not know who knows. But I'm a famed fortune teller, and I won't tell you if those fortunes are true or not. But hey, you believe it, so give me your money. And then I'm also
Did you have someone sit there and interpret for you?
yeah. Totally, always, I guess. I guess I have some human friends that are just kind of amazing at this. I don't know.
Okay.
She's well connected, okay? Get it? Connected? I mean, see myself.
Spider
Yep.
webs.
Alright, and what's your +3?
And my +3 as I had like a stagehand for plays, like a useful stagehand.
Okay.
And I really, more of that was for like, it was useful once to know how to swing on a chandelier in this game. So I took that one. She's not, she started, I kind of see her, she started in the theater and in the arts, and that's kind of where she grew up.
That way, if
Not-
I may add
Not with the lore. Yeah,
not down with you. Alright.
down below. But actually among people.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's add one more description to that.
Sure.
Are you a former, imperial stagehand, where the high arts or practice involves involved? You're more of a stagehand from Shadow's Reach, which is sort of like the Gotham City of this world.
Well, to be fair, probably it started with Gotham City
Okay.
of this world.
So former Reach. That is terrifying to contemplate.
It
for
really
me
is.
On so many levels.
It really is.
Alright, Paul. So first of all, do you have a character?
Yes.
What is your character's name?
I'm going to be Miles.
Miles? Am I?
And why?
Ooh.
Ooh.
We have a lot of
L-E-C?
Ys.
No, there's
Sounds
no
like
Z
a
in
normal
there.
Miles.
human.
Oh, I was
Miles.
like, Calypso Mars. Her last name is M-A-R-Z.
Ooh.
It is
Nope.
true.
M-Y-L-E-S.
Alright, so what backgrounds are you thinking?
So, initially I'm thinking a temple spy, or a spy of some sort,
Okay.
whose job was to actually go into other people's temples and steal information.
Okay, so rival, what about rival temple infiltrator?
That works.
How many points do you want to put in that one?
I'm gonna do 5.
So now I'm going to ask what most people in the Cardian Empire worship and venerate the host, which is just like the big pantheon. Were you like a spy for a specific temple? Did you go after the host's enemies? Because there are other rival pantheons and rival groups throughout the continent.
I think I will be a rival of the main one.
Okay.
I don't know what all
Wait,
of them
rival
are.
of the main one? So, like, you worked for not the host, but you worked for one of the other temples.
Yes.
Alright, we will discuss that here off camera.
Okay.
It's fun.
The reason I think I want that is, one, it will tie into my unique thing. I was hired to go and grab information, and I stumbled upon that special information while I was there.
And then are we doing former dream thief or dream thief or something to either tie in with the dreams or the prophecies for your other one?
Right. I'm thinking, instead of having stolen from someone's dreams,
Okay.
I will have stolen some sort of manuscript or something that these, what would have been dreams, have been written on. And
So you
then
stole
I
a dream
studied
journal.
those.
Okay. You
So
stole
clever.
a dream
So
journal
clever.
containing a copy. Well, I will let
I'm gonna
Chris
say-
know this. Oh, go ahead, Dave. What were you going to say?
I would like it to be sort of the only copy.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Okay. What were we saying just before that?
So Chris will be playing in our game tomorrow night, and he is the one who destroyed this prophecy and set up a horrible chain of events. So he will be glad to know that people will stop teasing him after 13 years for this, because now another copy exists.
I'm sure nobody will stop.
No, nobody will.
No.
Sorry, Christopher.
Yeah.
He's done for it.
All right. So that will be
That'll be a 5.
All right, and then what's the other one?
The other is going to be diplomat. So I will have worked also for the same.
You have road. Right. So you have Aegis background. So you're a temple diplomat. All right. That works for me. All right.
Warlord?
Yeah. Let's talk about Warlord.
Okay.
Before or after you died? Or did you die because you were a Warlord?
That's it.
Okay, so you were... So not just any Warlord. Alright, so... There's so much going on in my brain. So, here's the thing. There was just recently a battle known as the Battle of the Herald. The Herald is a river that flows out of Druthen because this army invaded the Desolates, which is sort of these plains that are the Oxen's home. And they destroyed a monastery known as Kirnachakal, and through a group of adventurers led by the noble Boaz, sort of gathered a number of people together and armies and fought them off. So, first of all, was your character fighting for the Oxen, or were they fighting for the invading armies as a warlord?
I think fighting with the invading army.
So you were before
Traitor
you
to
died.
your kind.
Yeah.
Oh, bad.
Scary.
Okay.
Well,
Are you going
we
to
have so much
backstab
loyalty
us?
in this group.
How many points?
There's no loyalty.
How many
We're all gonna kill
points do you want to put in that in invading warlord?
I don't know, because I don't know what my other one is.
Okay, so here's the thing: we can put it at 4 to start.
Okay.
And then if you come up with another one during play, we can just pop it in there.
Okay.
You were an invading warlord. Were you known for being like noble? Were you known for being cruel?
Not cruel, but not noble.
Okay. Were you like... No, again, this is before you became a necromancer, any valued and trusted member of this party.
We trust her.
What
Listen
was
to
your
her,
character
though. She
known
knows what
for
she's
as a
talking about.
warlord?
Oh, okay.
Because
I
really,
can't quite
the
understand
near-death
it, but, you know, it's
experience
fine.
could be why you're like, yeah, I don't go back with that army and I'm here as an adventurer trying to find something.
I think just conquering and victories.
Alright, former invading warlord.
Can I ask if
Warlord
you
for
accumulated
hire?
a lot of wealth?
I could have.
But did you?
Alright. Alright, last but not least, that is a great character and I'm very excited. I'm sorry to all of you for what I'm going to do because
I'm sorry, it's not my
moving
fault.
on.
It is your
No,
fault.
I'm
No, it's
sorry, I didn't know.
It is not your fault. It is his fault.
It's totally my fault. It'll be fun. I promise you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
There'll be
My
redemption.
goal is always...
Plus, I can do the
Gain DM next
weird sort of dead roll too. So
Yes,
it'll
to
be fine.
farm all of you for XP and level 18. No, my goal is always for people to have fun. And that's one of the great things about 13th Age. You get to say, no, I was an invading warlord, and maybe it's okay that like I died because, as Becca said, maybe you're on the path to redemption, maybe you're trying to figure out what's going on with this spark. All of you have a ton of character right off the bat. I'm very excited about this. All right. Last but not least, we have icons. Oh, do you have a name for your character?
Not yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you don't need to evolve this.
This is one thing I've been like really trying to think hard about, and I haven't come up with any.
All right. So last but not least, we have the icons of today. In 13th Age, you have 3 points to spend. unless you're Rachel, and then you only have 2 points to spend. So we'll start with Rachel real quick. Sorry.
That's okay.
Demola, Demon Lord playing in Undead. You have a negative or a conflicted relationship with this guy. Alright, and how many points out of your 3 do you want to... So, the more points you have in a relationship does not mean that it's stronger, it just comes up more frequently.
I get another one, though, right? Another icon. Yes.
You have 3 points, so you can put as many as you... Yeah, you can dump them all in Demola, you can do something else.
Let's do 1.
Alright. And then, do you remember the icons from last time? Or?
There was like an undead dragon
Yes.
or something. That
Yes.
one was a tree.
Yes, there was. You're thinking about him as well?
Yes.
Zentir the Draco Lich? Alright.
I'm never here to save the world, guys.
Hold on, let me just double check my notes. No, I have taken Zentir out of the mix.
Okay.
That is why we added it in the mix. So, no Zentir. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I might need to go over them.
Yeah, I can go over them right now.
Is that okay?
I would be glad to. No, you don't need to. No, this is...
Wait, you got rid of the
I did get rid of the Draco Lich. Alright, so here are the choices. There's the Black Duke. The island to the north of this continent is inhabited by soul-stealing vampiric half-elves, or the race that the half-elves have fallen into. The Black Duke is the one who led the assault that you were a part of. So, there is the Condemned. The Condemned is a wraith by the name of the Rivner. He was a warlord in the previous age and was cursed by the Wanderer to live in this undead state in order to find redemption. Kind of similar to your story. There's the Empress. The Cardain Empire is run by Rain of Cardain. She fought her way up the military ranks, and the previous emperor died. She ascended the throne. The Firstborn is a cult that is trying to bring back a different demon god than the one that you're potentially able to bring back.
Is this going to be your... Are you talking?
Your mandibles.
I feel like this is the only way I can breathe right now. So
We will finish this up.
it's not your fault. I'm pretty sure I just ate everything wrong today.
There is the hosts, which are the pantheons of Centauri, the gods. There is the Guild of Falling Leaves. They're a trade guild that deals specifically with they're the most expensive trade guild. They deal with the hardest to find, most dangerous to transport items. They're sort of like a black market organization, a group of thieves and brigands and that sort of thing. Demola, the Lord of Undeath, discovered. The Keeper of the Sands, she is the head of the Oxen tribes in the area. The Magister, one of the High Elves, Barrelon the Wise. The Possessed King, there's a dwarf to the south here who's been possessed by one of the stagnant dwarf gods and is trying to restart the civilization. There is the Spell Queen of Escalon, the Wood Elf Enchantress. The Wanderer, who is a force for good and order in the world. And at last, the Red Alchemist, the mysterious figure who experiments on people. So,
I do have a question.
I have an answer.
Is there benefits to having everybody have the same, or people having different ones?
So there's two ways to look at it. Like, if everyone has something different, the campaign's going to have a lot of different focuses. If we narrow it down to like 5 or 6 that everyone has, those are going to be the main icon focuses for the story. So you know that you have one with Devilot. Lee probably has one with Devilot thanks to her one unique thing as does here. So that has already put Demoloth as one of the main people in the story. We can also come back.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. No, you don't. You got there's a lot of choices.
Yes.
Like there's like 13.
Like 13 days is great because it gives us as players so much agency in the story that we build together. But at the same time, in the beginning of any game, 13 days, it's okay, make all these decisions and they're going to impact the rest of the game. Go.
I'm not good at decisions
I'm not gonna lie.
either.
So when I built my original warlock, I think I had a panic attack. I was like, what the frick is a background? What's a unique thing? And like, I don't think I actually had backgrounds for at least 2 games until I finally started figuring out who my character was. And now I love her so much. She's going to be my Halloween costume.
Is she really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
I've got red
You're going
I've
as
got
Ayala?
horns and everything. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, up to D&D.
I
13th age.
I might, as long as red is good on green.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
could definitely just
That
sit
could
down and
be
be like,
fun.
this is my other character. And then I'll do some makeup for Trip. I can figure it out.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's going to be awesome. Stay tuned. Well, let's jump over to you. What icons are you thinking of?
So I am gonna do a +2 in the Guild of Falling Leaves.
Okay.
I think
Now, are you positive, conflicted, or neutral? Or positive, conflicted?
positive.
All right. They are one of the ambiguous icons, so you can go either way with
Yeah,
those. All right.
And I think I'm gonna have a conflicted, not so much negative with Demoloth.
All right.
But I wasn't entirely sure how to represent that on my character sheet. Right now, I have a -1. Is it minus
Yes,
slash? Or
that's how I do it.
Okay.
I do +/-.
All right.
So. All right. Paul.
I don't know if I want.
You don't have to.
So I'm thinking, who's the Grass of Vengeance? Is that a thing?
Yes, Histal. He is the
High priest.
he's the high priest of the goddess of vengeance in Shadow's Reach. Oh, okay.
Wanderer. Do we have that?
We do not have the Wanderer represented.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 towards the Wanderer.
All right, and then positive or conflict.
I think I'm gonna go with positive.
Okay. Nice. Really
Excited?
I'm super excited.
What was the other one you went with?
I haven't chosen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
What is the one that generally? Hold on, let me look. I think Prince of Shadows. Yeah.
So the Prince of Shadows is the Guild of Fallen Leaves in this world.
Okay.
You gonna do
Fallen Leaves. One towards that.
Positive or
Conflicted or...
I'm gonna say conflicted.
all right, and then Lee, you had a positive relationship, right? All right.
Wait. Not negative.
Demoloth and I have a negative relationship.
How many points?
1.
All right.
And then the Red Alchemist,
2.
2, and it's conflicted.
All right. That leaves
It's been a
the
long
last
time.
icon.
The one that had a similar story to me?
Yes, the Rivner.
Yeah, just kind of talk through that one again. I'm
So the
sorry.
Rivner was a warlord in
Was it
the
she's-
6th Age,
Okay.
and when the hosts kind of came to overthrow the half-elven emperors, the kings and queens, because they had fallen into decadence, the warlord was fighting for them, and the Wanderer curses this guy to become undead, and basically kind of wakes up, moves around the world for a couple of decades, is killed, falls into a torpor, wakes up in a couple of decades, as a way to sort of like provoke change in this creature and to sort of put him on the path of redemption.
Okay. Love that.
All right. So you have 2. You want to do 2 points or 1 point?
I'll do 2.
All right, and positive or conflicted?
What are the pros and cons of positive and...
So positive means when you call on their aid, it's because you've got a really good working relationship. Conflicted is that thing where, like, maybe you left a cult behind, like the cult of Desolation behind, and so you've got this sort of, you've got friends who are still on the inside, but maybe you're working against them. With a negative relationship, which you can't do with the River, but with a negative relationship, it's often things like Becca works against Deviloth, so when she calls in favors, it's really more like people who dislike Deviloth show up and aid her against it.
So, like, if I was going to fight like the Devil Off, I would call in a favor, maybe the Spell Queen
Shows up.
her agents would show up because they're so against it.
So there's not so much a benefit, or it is more how are you defining your relationship with them, which will define how you draw on their aid.
Okay, I think I want to do positive.
All right, and positive too. So the only thing you don't have to decide the weak side of the character, but that is character creation for 13th age. So that's right. It's a 5. The last thing
I just realized that our producer was like,
you're fine. We all can hear her, right?
Yep.
Let me see your character back real quick. So the last thing you guys are going to want to do, and you can do this in the week in between, you go to your weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So pick the kind that you want. You'll see that, like, for the rogue, heavy or martial weapons are done with a penalty. Just pick the weapons you want. Like, there's no encumbrance. You don't need to worry about anything like that. Pick the weapons that sound cool. And here's the thing another thing I love about 13 Days. We don't care. By we, I mean they. The guys who wrote 13 Days, they don't care that necessarily that you've got a dagger, you've got an axe, we both do a D8. What they do care about is that you have an obsidian dagger that's, like, inlaid with the runes of the names of the gods of death. You can describe your armor, you can describe your weapons however you want. Do you want a hauberk of petrified turtle shells that you wear? Like, I want to know why your characters look cool, because that's part of the fun of designing a 13 Days character. You get to come in being like, no, this is my badass character, and that's you're just going to have to deal with it. So, that is what we have for today. Guys, thank you. I'm really looking forward to running this game for you. And then in 2 weeks, we have the last 2 mystery members of our group joining up. So,
spoopy.
That's right, for Halloween! Thank you for tuning in for this session 0 of our 13-page game. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you like your characters. I'm very excited to be running you guys through this. Also, you should know that we will be starting next session off right in the middle of combat. So, good luck.
Good.
Thanks.
Sweet.
I'm ready,
All right.
guys.
This has been Iconic Production. This is Heroes on the Edge of Desolation. I'm JM, the GM. This is our adventuring party, and see you in a week.